Hello, family. Welcome to another insightful episode of the Real Deal Naija Podcast. Thread. You are welcome again. Merry Christmas. I am looking all Christmassy. Yeah, Santa came early for me and I want to wish you a very, very happy Christmas. Today, we are going to be exploring another insightful topic which I believe that you will find very, very useful. Now, you're going to agree with me that most people go into construction without understanding the basics. That is why it has been discovered that the average homeowner makes at least 6 major changes during the construction process. Studies have also revealed that most avoidable costs usually come from mistakes, late decisions, or even poor foundation. Most of these could have been avoided with proper planning. To do justice to today's topic, we're going to be talking about the A to Z of building, and we're going to be looking at it from a structural engineer's perspective. I have with me in the studio a guest who is an MBA holder from the Kingston University, London. He also holds an MSc in Sustainable Concrete Structures and Construction Management. He is a highly skilled professional and a builder who has delivered complex construction projects. He is a construction engineering consultant with a portfolio panning across the telecommunications, oil and gas, and the real estate industry. Please welcome with me in the studio today, Mr. Valentine Eliagwu. You are welcome. I must say that he is returning. One of the episodes that we talked about building collapse, it was very insightful. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend that you go and watch it right now. So today, again, we're going to be talking about the A to Z of building, and we will be looking at it from the structural engineer's perspective. You're welcome again, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas, I should
Christmas.
say. All right. So I want us to discuss, at what point should a structural engineer get involved in a project?
Okay. We'll try and simplify the stages in the design and build.
Okay.
So the last time we spoke about pre-design,
Yes.
design, construction, and post-construction. Those are 4 phases of the design and build. So the structural engineer predominantly is in the design stage.
Okay.
Because, at that stage, that's where he churns out his structural design, his structural drawings. He also operates in the construction stage because, there are spot checks. He needs to ensure that what is being executed on site is actually what he designed. So he needs to be around during the construction stage. Then in the post-construction stage, where there might be issues when the building is already operational, he can come there. But predominantly is in the design stage. I would say in the design stage. That's where he produces his structural design that is used to construct the building, basically.
All right. Thank you. So now, what are the biggest structural mistakes you see on site when engineers are not properly consulted?
Okay. I'll just point to 2 seemingly rudimentary things. Okay. Materials. So the use of wrong materials. So when the structural design specifies a certain type of material, it is not used. And it is worse now because the construction market is warped now. So if the structural design says use 16 mm rebar, and you go to the market to procure 16 mm rebar, what you will get will probably be 14 mm rebars. But engraved 16 mm.
Wow.
So if the structural engineer, the builder, or whoever has oversight doesn't come to site to ensure that what was designed is what is used, it can be a calamity in future.
Oh, wow.
So that's the basic. That's basic these days. Basic. The other basics like use of water, for instance, to mix concrete. You know, people use different kinds of water. I've seen sites where people fetch water from the drains just in front of the site.
Wow.
I've seen sites where people fetch water from the lagoon or even the ocean, salt water, and you mix concrete. So it sounds very simple, but
yes.
I mean, these are major issues that, I mean, if you don't have oversight, and you could miss, and it could lead to trouble later.
Wow. All right, now let's move to soil testing, right? What role does soil testing play in structural safety, and how do clients view the increased cost it represents?
Okay, soil test, geotechnics, is the basis it should be the basis for any construction project. Because it tells you what lies beneath the soil.
Okay.
Your building will be sitting on the soil. So the soil test will tell you if the soil is adequate or how you should go based on what the soil test finds out. It would say how to design a structure that will sit, well on that site. So it's critical. It is critical to every project.
Okay.
With regards the cost, said.
Yes.
In my opinion, the cost is insignificant. If you look at the broad scheme of project budget, it's inconsequential, if you ask me. So it is a wonder why people avoid it. It's a wonder. I mean, if I look back, I doubt if it's up to 0.5%.
Really?
Yeah.
So why? To think that the damage that will be caused if you don't carry out a proper soil test, it will cost you more than you're actually going to spend to carry out the soil test.
True. So what has become the norm is that people, because someone is familiar with a particular area, he has worked here,
yes,
and he wants to apply the same methodology he used on a nearby site on this site.
They just approximate.
Yes. However, the risk in that is that you can have one site with different soil characteristics. Yes, you can have one site with different soil characteristics.
Wow.
So there's a risk in not undertaking soil test. Big risk. It's the biggest risk, if you ask me, because it means that you are putting something on nothing. Yeah.
Wow. Putting something on nothing, because the soil is the foundation of the entire building. All right, now, so tell us, what are the most common causes of structural failures in Nigerian buildings, and how can they be prevented?
Okay, I mean, I've said before, the failures, the risk is inherent across design and build. So there are different categories of it. I mean, you have, but I'll just talk broadly. We have weak regulatory framework.
Okay.
Because basically, before you build, when you do a soil test, you churn out your designs. You are supposed to get building permits from government regulatory agencies. You're supposed to get those permits before you embark on the project. Okay. For some reason, people avoid getting these permits. A lot of people just go and start. And that is why you see people avoiding soil tests. Because if you're building a structure above a floor, the regulation says you must conduct a soil test and a structural drawing. So you see the connection.
Yes.
If I go to build without the soil, there's no way I would have built a house that has a building permit without doing a soil test.
Soil test, true.
So you see that most issues of collapse and failure, it means they didn't go through the right channels for getting a permit. Either they didn't get the permit or they bypassed something. So weak government regulatory, framework is one of the basic reasons. Another reason I would say would be using charlatans, quacks. You're not using professionals. If you don't use professionals, if you use a professional, he will advise you. He will tell you that, look, we need to do what is right. You can't embark on a project that will cost X amount without doing just this little bit.
True that.
So if you patronize quacks, I mean, you
They help you cut corners.
Yes, and the risk is ultimately for the project sponsor, the owner of the project. He may not know, he may think he's cutting costs, but the quack will move on.
True.
Yeah. So for me, those are the two basic issues. I mean, we can talk about a lot of other things, but they all fall under this oversight.
So
oversight, professional oversight, one. Regulatory oversight, two. If those are tight, it will be rare.
Falls in place. All right. So now you have delivered various projects, right? And you tell us, how receptive are your clients to the use of alternative materials like bamboo, steel, framing, interlocking block in residential projects?
Okay. I mean, bamboo, for instance. Bamboo, it hasn't caught up much here in East Asia. I think it's very strong there. Okay. In terms of sustainability, bamboo is very good because it's renewable.
Oh.
It's renewable. Bamboo grows to maturity in 3 to 5 years. I don't think there's any hard wood that takes 3 to 5 years to grow. So it's very easy to renew, to have a cycle of bamboo available. Bamboo has been known to have, high tensile strength. In some cases, even higher than steel. Rebars,
really?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's a good alternative for steel, for finishing.
Okay.
But it hasn't caught up yet. I think the barriers to that probably because of standardization.
Okay.
Earlier I spoke about going to buy a 16 mm rebar and you are getting a 14 or 15 mm. So these are processes that went through a production line. So you can imagine what would happen if it was bamboo where everybody
from the
farm. It will be a catastrophe. So I'm sure people are wary of that catastrophe. But I guess as the industry evolves, it might the building codes might, specify, bamboo is very good. It's renewable. It has low carbon footprint. It doesn't, the process to manufacture steel damages the environment. Bamboo doesn't. In fact, bamboo provides oxygen.
Yes.
So it's very good. So it hasn't caught up. Paving stones, yes, I mean, for exteriors, it has caught up quite a bit. A lot of people use it. In fact, it has evolved. You now have other variants, concrete stamping and all that. Steel structures.
Steel framing.
Yeah, steel framing, very good. A lot of people use it. People use steel frames, portal structures for auditoriums. When you want to construct structures that will have large spaces in between, so like churches, auditoriums. If you look around, you see that it's made of warehouses.
Steel, yes.
It's made of steel. The reason is that steel members are rigid. You don't have too many moments at the joints.
Okay.
It is, the speed of construction is very high. So you can just quickly fabricate rather than the time it takes for brick and mortar.
Concrete,
so it's good. It has caught up. But the cost of steel too keeps it at a low acceptance. So only for specialized structures, like I said. But it is here.
All right. So people are yet to fully embrace the bamboo structures. Okay. All right. So now I want you to tell me, how do engineers manage costs without compromising safety and quality?
Okay. Managing costs without compromise. So it falls back to those two other factors I spoke about. So one of them is using a professional. A professional would hardly compromise because he knows the implication. It will hardly compromise. And it brings in project management skills. So the project management has three constraints: cost, time, and scope. So in projects, I mean, if you're a professional and you understand the concept of cost, time, and scope, you understand that when one moves, they are interdependent: cost, time, and scope. So when you adjust one, it affects at least one of the other ones.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is an interplay. You need to know how to interplay between costs, time, and scope. So, for instance, a developer wants to build a shopping mall for Christmas. For Christmas, he wants to catch the Christmas sales. Okay. And he says, let's quickly can we build 200 square meters of shopping mall?
Ooh.
Yeah?
Yes.
And we say, yes, we can. And we start. And he says, no, let's do 500 square meters. So the scope has
changed, yes.
Has increased. It means the cost too will increase.
Sure.
The time may or may not increase because there are construction techniques that can speed it, like the steel frames.
Okay.
So we can say, okay, if the budget can accommodate it, we can quickly use steel frames and put it up in that period. So the construction manager needs to have that skill set, project management, and he will know how to balance those.
All of the factors?
Yeah, those factors, basically.
Okay. So it's one thing to engage an expert. It's another to actually know what the expert is doing. So tell me, how should clients monitor progress and hold contractors accountable during construction?
Again, falls back to the basics. Get a professional.
Okay.
Get a professional builder. It's oversight. Basically, if you have oversight and if you have professionals with the right skill set,
yes,
there are various methods of monitoring projects. There are Gantt charts, there are PETs, there are softwares that does scheduling and overlays your cost on it. So you know that your cost is on track, your schedule is on track, your scope is on track. So if you get a professional, he has these tools. I mean, if you are the project sponsor, you are the client and you don't know, he will share with you a weekly or a daily schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, depending on the size of the project. In large projects, you have various levels of oversight. So the client has his own project manager.
Okay.
The engineer has his own project manager. The quantity surveyor has his own project manager. So basically everybody, the architect has his own project manager. The idea is that everybody has some level of oversight. So what one party misses, the other party gets. So again, it depends on the size of the project. You know, but there are different softwares to keep track. Then you need the human interface to be sure that, I mean, like the steel example with the steel, the steel
framing.
Yes, we bought some. We had a project in Jos recently, about last month, and we bought steel, equal angles, and we wanted 5 mm, and the guy gave us less than 5 mm. So they called me to say this is less than 5. So I called the guy. We had the same project last year, and we bought 5 mm from the same guy, the same vendor, the ironmonger. So I called him and said, "What has changed?" Exactly 1 year ago, we bought this. He said, "This is what the market offers."
Interesting.
So you can imagine what can transpire.
Yes.
You know.
Wow. That's it on today's episode. If there's one thing Mr. Valentine has emphasized on over and over again is engaging a professional. You would actually save more cost by engaging a professional than cutting corners by engaging quacks, right? So you want to make sure that you carry out your soil test, make sure that all the structural frameworks are in check, and every professional that you are engaging, there's a project manager putting them and holding them accountable. Thank you for watching today's episode of the Real Deal Naija Podcast. Now, a quick question for you. If you had 50 million naira in your account and you have to construct all you're supposed to build, would you be building a bungalow or a duplex? We'll be looking to read your comments in the comment section. Tell us, what would you be building, a bungalow or a duplex, if you had 50 million naira? Join us on another insightful episode of the Real Deal Naija Podcast. Remember, here we keep it real talk about real estate, and this is your ultimate resource to guide you on that next real estate investment or construction decision you're about to make. I'll see you on another episode. My name is Evelyn Oloide.